How are you? Welcome back to Newly Licensed. Now what? Come on up, raise your hand. Let me know what your wins are this week. This is Fantastic Friday, and we're going through people's wins and how they are going to celebrate those wins this week. So come on up and let me know, what are your wins this week and how can we help you as well to get winning next week. So let me invite you guys up. Hello, Bella. Welcome.
Hey, hey. I am able to talk, but I am listening.
Fantastic. Well,
Thank you.
I'll start with myself. I'll start the room and say my name's Sam Silver. I'm with eXp Realty, one of the fastest growing companies in the world and the nation. What we do at eXp, we're helping brokers and agents to get their freedom, to not have to look for the bag and have multiple streams of income. So that's what we do at eXp. Had to get Squatter out. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. So what we do is we're helping agents to get free. The agents work for themselves, but not by themselves. We have mentoring groups. I actually created quite a few mentoring Facebook groups. So if you want to go to free mentoring on Facebook groups, click on that and you'll see a little bit about what my group is about. And thank you so much for coming into our Instagram as well as our other streams. I feel like I have been detoxing from my show, my episodes. Newly Licensed, Now What? We just got a puppy, and let's see, I'm going to show go to my Insta, go to Sam661 Homes, and I did a little bit of a shot of my puppy laying on the floor. So she is, before you asked, she is a golden doodle lab mix. She was in big trouble today. So having a new puppy, it definitely it challenges you in many ways. It's like having a baby. And having a baby, you have to keep an eye on them constantly, chewing and pooping in the house and peeing in the house and all those wonderful things. But my kids are going nuts for this dog. She's beautiful, and right now she's quiet. So this is a perfect time to do my episode of Newly Licensed Now What? It is Fantastic Friday, and we're asking people. Oh, multi-poo. How cool. That's awesome, Paul. We're asking people what are their wins this week. It's Friday. Friday. What are your wins this week? If you come into the clubhouse, please come up and share what are your wins this week, as well as how are you going to share. I'm going to invite somebody up. How are we going to celebrate our successes for this week? What are we doing to celebrate our successes? Because you can have wins, but if you don't celebrate your successes, then you're not rewarding yourself, and you have to reward yourself for your successes. So whether it be going out for ice cream or going to a movie or in this COVID environment, whatever makes you happy, go do it, or get a movie or something. Celebrate your successes. So, Marty, welcome up. How are you doing, brother?
Just fine, buddy. How you doing?
Fantastic. Wanted to open this. It's been a couple days since I've had my show. I was explaining that I have a new puppy. She is a golden doodle, and she has taken a lot of my time. So having a baby, just like having a baby. So I'm so excited to be back and doing my episode today. And I thank you all for coming here. I'm so appreciative of you. And Marty, I created some Facebook groups because of what you taught me. And Marty is the king of, I'm just going to say social media groups. I'm not even going to say Facebook groups because all of the things you teach, you could do it anywhere. And Marty, what are your successes this week? And how are you going to celebrate your successes?
Successes would be signed a few new bus team members up yesterday, and my loan officers are kicking butt every day. I'm seeing from one of our loan officers get posted in our group. I created a Facebook group just for our branches. So I got my main branch here in Knoxville, and I've got a branch in Indiana, one in Sarasota. I got 3 branches in South Carolina, and a couple out towards Nashville, and one in Alabama. So I'm trying to help them grow, and learn the mortgage business inside out, and connect them to plenty of realtors along the way using the Facebook groups. But yeah, and how I'm celebrating is I'm fixing to head down south to Florida, and have a nice little about a 5 to 7 day vacation, but not really a total vacation. I know that it's impossible for me to ever take a real vacation. I will always be working in the background. So what about you?
Well, we got this new puppy, and we lost a puppy last year, so it was really kind of tough to get another one. So I consider that an accomplishment, getting over. Well, you're never over a dog that you've had for 9 years. You're never really over it. But, getting this dog and being able to handle my daughter with special needs with this dog, so without yelling and without raising my voice. So that's an accomplishment when it comes to personal life. I am working on getting involved into a rare disease / special needs support group. So I've started to getting connected in that, and that helps a lot with some of the stuff that you have to deal with in day-to-day occurrence. So that's another positive personal. Business, I didn't get COVID. And I say that because I have a client that I'm working with right now that unfortunately wound up with COVID, and I had worked with them a couple of days before they tested. So that's a business. That's a great accomplishment. Not getting sick. So everything's good. I have houses that are going to be closing at the end of this month. I got one that I sold, which was my personal house, and we bought another one as an investment property for when we're 55. We can move into it. It's actually rented out currently, so we're going to be ahead, probably about $800 a month. And then 2 to 3 years will be the right age, and we can actually move into it. So got some really cool stuff going on. Lots of successes.
Yes, it definitely sounds like it. That's awesome. And what about as far as the real estate goes? I mean, closing transactions, picking up realtors to be at eXp. What's been the most success there?
Actually, one of the tools I used was from you on my Facebook groups. So I don't know if you're able to sit down and look at Facebook groups right now. I'm gonna share with you some groups I created, and it was because of what you do and all the incredible things that you share. I created, and I'm gonna have you as a maybe not an admin, because you said to create it and do you as something else, right?
Yeah, moderator.
Moderator. So
Yeah.
type in free real estate, and you could go down the gamut. Free real estate mentor, free real estate mentorship, free real estate mentor and coach, free real estate coaching, free real estate productivity coach. I created all of those.
That's awesome.
from what I learned from you.
That's awesome.
You see them?
Yeah, I'm looking for different ones right now.
They're all in there, and I left them open
Yeah.
so people can go in there and ask questions. And I figured free is a thing that people love to see. Anything free, people love free. So
Oh yeah.
so that's what I created because of what I learned from you, Marty.
That's awesome.
So let me know what I could do to make those better. And let's
Yeah,
see.
I'll be sure to add you to them too, just in case I don't find them all.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I was talking to Bella before, and she had some questions on. She's a little concerned. She spent a little bit of money in some of these groups or some of these clubhouse rooms, and she's real shy about investing money right now. So I told her to connect with you and to ask you questions. I said, consulting advice is not, you're not going to charge her for advice. You give lots of stuff free. I also told her to go to your YouTube and check out your YouTube. And so I hope she has to learn who you are and that you're a real person and you really care about the people that you're helping. So that's something I wanted to share with you. Bella's awesome, but she's a little shy from her experiences, and I don't blame her because a lot of people out there on these clubhouse rooms and Instagram aren't who they say they are, and they'll take your money, and you got nothing to show for it. So if you
Yeah,
get
I'd be happy to answer any questions anytime, Bella. And I'm pretty flexible too. One reason I'm so flexible and so cheap, and it's kind of a bad thing sometimes. And I've been told that many, many times, Marty, you don't charge enough. Marty, you don't charge enough. And so a lot of people don't think your stuff really works, or maybe a little skeptical of it. But I just dropped a post a few minutes ago on my Instagram where a new Buzz team member, she's a realtor, picked up $800,000 listing off her very first poll that she created. That I basically taught her how to do, and so yeah, and she was the same way. Most people are skeptical because it's we've been through this stuff for years. I was in the mid '90s, and back then it was a matter of trying to do open houses. It was a matter of door knocking. Got in the mortgage business around 2004, so I wasn't really good on the real estate side, and then it was a matter of lead calling. Had to call leads all the time. Well, when I stumbled across the Facebook groups in 2014, 8 years ago, I immediately started getting 3 or 4 applications out every single day by myself, and kind of kept it to myself for the first 2 or 3 years. It wasn't until 2018 when I wrote the book to help realtors and loan officers use the Facebook groups. And because at that point, I was just trying to close loans myself, enjoy life. I was newly married, and then later on, it got to where I could see a lot of people needed help. And I just started helping realtors, loan officers, investors, insurance agents, everybody. But it's what I teach, anybody can do. And I usually tell you, you can get out there. I give you the exact posts, the exact polls to use. Where people mainly really lack at is understanding that they can use their phone and it's 100% mobile to do all this. And so it gives them freedom. And you can turn these Facebook groups off. We call it the buzz formula. You can turn it off and on like a water faucet. You need leads, you need people, you just turn it on. You create 5 or 6 posts. Next thing you know, they'll start blowing up for 5 or 6 polls. And it doesn't matter if you need buyers or sellers. You can find both of them using the groups. But then there's a whole different aspect of learning how to create your own personal branding group. Like I've got one called Knoxville Homes for Sale/Rent. Marty, who makes home buying easy. And I didn't create that group until about 3 years after using the Facebook groups. I should have been. I post. Took me less than 5 seconds to create. Post would literally get 500 comments on it, 1,000 comments on it. Crazy numbers. But I wasn't putting those people. I wasn't inviting them anywhere. So once I started creating this group, started inviting them to that group, I even kind of quit trying to grow it. And still, it's got over 4,000, like 4,500 members in it. because I immediately started taking my attention off me building my own personal branding group and started teaching realtors, loan officers, everybody else out there how to build these groups. So yeah, it's for the money I charge. It's a one-time fee of $495 and $10 a month. But even at $495, you can split it up into 3 payments of $165. And after the first payment of $165, you say, Marty, this is not for me. It ain't working. Then I wouldn't even worry about the rest of it, because so far I've been teaching realtors and loan officers just organically for the last couple of years, and nobody has been able to say this doesn't work. Now, plenty of people say I don't work, as far as the results, I've got over 20,000 screenshots, different videos. It's definitely life changing. It helps Sam out, that's for sure, and it's helped many other realtors and loan officers. I mean, hundreds of them along the way. So anytime, if you guys ever want questions or have questions about the Facebook groups, just message me anytime and I can answer them.
Hey, Marty, this is one of my really good friends. He's a fellow veteran, and I say happy Red Day, LJ, happy Red Day for you and those that are deployed. We're talking about newly licensed now what? It's Fantastic Friday. What I ask is, wins for this week, as well as how are you going to reward yourself. And I brought Marty in because he has these awesome Facebook groups, and the stuff he teaches is just gold. And LJ is also a podcaster, incredible podcaster. He actually created one of my logos for me, just as a incredible person he is. And then he's also in financial services, so he actually could use these Facebook groups. And I'm actually going to pin the Facebook group on the top, or not the Facebook group, your link. I'm going to pin it to the top so you could see kind of what we do. And Marty, LJ, Marty.
Hey, pleasure to meet you guys. Well,
Hey, you too, buddy.
yeah,
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, I'm actually heading back. I work with the Navy as a contractor during the day, and then I run appointments in the evening. So I'm heading back to the house right now. I'm not running any appointments today because I've got a pretty big episode for the podcast tomorrow. So I want to just relax and make sure I'm fired up. This Facebook group thing, though, got me thinking. I was managing a Facebook group, and I took a lot of the strategies I was using in my Facebook group, and I pretty much turned my LinkedIn into like an open form, so to speak. So it's interesting. Like I have a podcast scheduled tomorrow, like a live event on LinkedIn, and I've got over 100 people scheduled as live attendees. And so that's very interesting to see. Facebook doesn't seem to. I'm also paying LinkedIn for their their premium platform, so it's kind of pushing out the content a bit more, but it's definitely been worth it.
Yeah, that's an area that I need to get more involved in this year. I haven't really been a big LinkedIn fan. Of course, I got so involved in Facebook groups from 2014 that the first 4 or 5 years, that's all I really did was focus my time on them.
And you wouldn't have to do anything different. I mean, a lot of people were looking at LinkedIn like me, where they look at it as a job searching site, a lot like Indeed. But I changed my perspective because, here locally in Virginia, I would go to a lot of networking events because I do work in financial services. So I would just go out and speak to people in different industries and maybe come to their office and, educate their team on insurance and blah, blah, blah. And so I just turned my LinkedIn into basically a business card. But if you look at the LinkedIn that I have, I'm not talking about specifically like insurance. It's just promoting the podcast, building the know, like, and trust factor. And then from there, people are, booking appointments with me on the back end. It's been very interesting to see how that has been playing out. But my point is, if you look at LinkedIn like one of those networking events, like, hey, my name is, like a little fucking, the little name tag on it, then it actually starts to work better as opposed to looking for like jobs or anything like that.
And it's kind of cool. LJ, Marty, question for you. If you were going to take somebody in financial services, what kind of post would you do in a Facebook group?
Well, I've done several towards like either commercial loans, business loans, insurance. Like for insurance, a real easy one is, which one of these insurances would you change if you could get it cheaper? Auto, health, home. It's real simple to put those kind of polls out there and get plenty of people clicking the options. But as far as actual financial advice, I guess it would be a poll asking if what kind of financial advice somebody would need help with. Whether it be investing, life insurance, whatever. I guess that would probably be the route I'd go. I just have to look and see exactly what it is and understand it a little bit more.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm not really putting out content to my
clients,
business.
My but you can definitely promote your podcast and that kind of stuff. Like I've got full control of groups in 45 states with about 5 million members and multiple countries out there. You can blast those groups and something I don't even do for my own business enough, because I'm usually going other directions trying to. I'm also got some mortgage branches that I help train and build, so I spend a lot of time and need to be utilizing my own groups more as far as that goes. But yeah, because they're powerful, and where you get the real power at is when you control the group, you're admin in the group. You can take your posts and your polls, whatever you create, and you can pin it to the top as a featured announcement. And you can use those cover photos like billboards, So that's kind of route I go, because I teach people how to buy the Facebook groups and how to monetize them. And I've been approached by somebody that's pretty much like you said, the same thing for LinkedIn. People reaching out, buying their LinkedIn groups. I just haven't got that route yet.
Well, the reason why I like it is because if you Google my name, right, LinkedIn, the SEO for LinkedIn, the search engine optimization, it pins that to the very top. So, when I'm out meeting people or they want to look me up, I really can't fight with LinkedIn. But in my Facebook group, it doesn't really come up. So I just decided to anything that I would lead in my group, you could put in LinkedIn, and I could even put in documents. So for example, I put together this workshop that I'm doing once a month on like monetization when it comes to podcasting, which you can use it for whatever you're doing, but that's my niche. So anyhow, I can put out like PDF documents. I can download it from my LinkedIn. It's very interesting, and they have that huge database. So I'm just really putting a lot of time in there, because when I have guests on the show now, whoever likes the episode, it's more likely that they're going to connect with me on LinkedIn versus unless I'm running, like Facebook is great for if you're running ads. But what I'm finding is that I'm getting a lot more engagement as I'm investing with the people on LinkedIn, because they're more entrepreneurial and a bit more business minded. So like I did an episode last week or 2 weeks ago. Actually, it was a New Year's Day special. So New Year's Eve special. And I might have made like 50 new connections. And then from those people, I sent them out an invite for my event this Saturday. So from there, I had about 50 people sign up to attend my next podcast. And then what I do is I recruit for my company. So in the show, say I'm talking, like I have a guy coming on talking about creating episodes and TV. He's an Emmy nominee, two-time Emmy nominee for videography and photography. So during the show, I'll mention, hey, listen, if you're looking to make some extra income, because again, you're talking about getting licensed. I can help you get licensed in financial services. I mentioned that. I say you can email me at info@ljhayward.com. So then the podcast, all I have to do is promote the podcast, and then in the show, I mention, the business. And so I'm never really putting out that I'm recruiting for the company unless it's during the show. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a lot more return on my investment with LinkedIn, because it's like basically I'm running my LinkedIn page like I would run my group page, and it's like it's a lot easier because I also have a blog that I put out on LinkedIn too, an article, and LinkedIn scrapes that article and then shows my page to more people that would be interested in the type of content that I'm publishing through the article. And so I think that's the reason why, on average, I'm adding, again, I'm not, big time yet, but I'm adding about 3 or 4 new people a day to my LinkedIn just from them, stumbling across my content in the articles and through the Facebook and through the live podcasts.
That's a great idea, though, Jay. I got LinkedIn. I have, the latest veteran benefit book. I actually put that in my LinkedIn on the top, and I actually put all my information into that book as a PDF. So when somebody goes in there, they're going to see my information on top as a realtor.
I love that idea. Yeah. And like I said, I hired a writer. So what I do is I do about 4 or 5 episodes of the podcast, and then I send her the MP3 file, cover like an article about the guests. And then I take those and release those as articles on LinkedIn. And that has been very powerful because now when the right person sees my page, the information is like really, really high quality,
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I've also done something else. I started doing a podcast, my friend. I did. I take my video I reuse my video like a Gary Vee thing. I reuse my my Clubhouse, and I put it into Anchor. So I started doing that too.
That's a brilliant idea. It definitely condenses your time. I'll send you a link to my workshop too, because you could start doing little mini workshops. Here's the thing too. You could do the website, the company I'm using for my workshops, you could do free or paid workshops. And because you're teaching veterans about, real estate and things like that, I'm finding that I'm getting higher quality people I'm working with when I do these paid workshops through Clubhouse. So I'll send you a link so you can model it. I mean, if you want to go, fine, but it's just having that. It's actually on my link. I think I published it on my Instagram because everybody was asking me like, "Yo, I like your show. I see you're making money doing it." And a lot of the people on Clubhouse were, wasting time. They would get on my phone, they'd ask me all these questions, and then they wouldn't do anything. That's what I was saying. So I was like, man, I'm not gonna waste my time getting on the account. You're the opposite, bro. Like that's the reason why I did that logo for you, because you take action, and so it's totally different with you. But after that, that conversation you and I had, I was doing that with a lot of people, but they weren't taking any action. It was getting kind of frustrating.
We gotta. I mean, if you're asking for the advice, you gotta take the action. Why even? Why waste your time or my time? Why do that unless you're going to actually go out and do something with it? Just like Marty. I read Marty's book, and I've created. Oh my gosh! I just have epiphany of things I've done with groups also. So what I may have to do is start. Marty, I'm going to start doing some of those polls in LinkedIn. And maybe you have some idea on people in LinkedIn are going to be more business oriented. So maybe I can pick up some of the business.
Hey, do the polls.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. But here's the thing about LinkedIn. If you have a LinkedIn and you make it a creator account, that's telling LinkedIn that because these apps, they're a business, right? And they're jockeying for attention. So running the polls fine, but what I would recommend, run the poll in conjunction with doing a live where you talk about the poll results, right? Or ask about the poll. Hey, listen, guys, LJ here. I just published a poll in my last post asking you a simple question. What is the number one thing you want to learn as it relates to podcasting? Is it about how to monetize it? Is it how to become a better interviewer? Is it how to schedule your guests appropriately? What is it you want to learn? Answer that question in my poll. I'll be back with you next week with the results, and then we'll set up whatever. Right? But those videos are powerful, and LinkedIn is going to really prioritize those videos higher than other content I'm finding, because not everybody can go live on LinkedIn, you know?
And I'm doing StreamYard. I'm doing all this stuff on StreamYard, LJ.
Yeah, exactly. And I see that. And that's what I'm saying, because you already have StreamYard set up. So you could put the question in your StreamYard and run a live poll. And here's the thing, too. You could set up you could set up an event. So say you're going live, like if you train your audience, you're going to go live every Saturday, like I'm doing. They're going to get an email notification when they subscribe to it, and it's very powerful, bro. Like I'm surprised that I put together this event, my podcast, and I had 100 people when I go live through email that I'm live, and then when we're doing the show, they can ask questions while we're doing the show.
Hey, I just wanted to say I'll be back, guys. I got to jump on a Zoom call real quick. I was starting to hit the button to unmute myself, and somehow it knocked me out, or I logged out. But yeah, I'll be back, Sam. If you're gonna be on there for a hot minute, I'll text you when I get done.
Absolutely, Marty. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, buddy.
We got to get you back on the podcast, Sam. I'm doing a show. I'm not doing one next Saturday. I'm going to be out to sea, but I'm going to be doing the last recording at the end of this month is going to be the 28th, I believe, Saturday. It's the last Saturday of the month. I've already got one guest booked. If you wanted to hop back on, we already recorded one though, right? A while back.
I don't think we ever got to recording one. We were going back and forth, and then I had a birthday, and it's been crazy.
Oh, that's right. That's nuts. Well, because that's actually a good thing, because when I first started doing the show, I didn't have all my systems in place. So like now I'm able to just churn them out and publish them very quickly. I've got people that are pissed because I didn't publish the shows that we recorded on the actual, the podcast, because I was recording so many at one time. But this is actually good though. This is good.
Absolutely. LJ, this is Bam. Bam is unbelievable. He's a fantastic person. He's actually in the LA area. If you don't know what bam.eco is, Bam, talk to us, brother.
Hey, what's going on, Sam? I miss you, man. As you know, we have you on our calendar for Tuesdays from noon to 1 to be consistent. Are you going to get back on the schedule for Tuesdays?
Yes. We just got a puppy, my friend. And
I saw.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like the puppy came in the house and it's like, where's my schedule?
I respect that and I appreciate it, man. So let me do the quick version, and I'm going to do that from my bio. And so our bio says, do you want to make more money collaboratively? Tour. Details are at bamevent.net under the auspices of the Bible verse Ecclesiastes 10:19. Ecclesiastes 10:19 says, a feast is made for laughter, wine makes life merry, but money is the answer for everything. So we want you to advertise with bam.eco. We established in 1998. Let me say that again. We established in 1998 and create passive income from the internet like Amazon. Passive income is money earned from an enterprise like BAM with little or no ongoing effort involved to keep the bag flowing. So in conclusion, the reason why we are consistent with your room, Sam, is we know statistically that approximately 80% of all new agents will not get past the first year. One of the reasons why around 80% of the new agents will not get past the first year is they have to feed their families and they have to eat. And so our goal is the new agents associated with you, associated with eXp, also become a member of BAM for a side/gig economy income regarding to the only two ways there are to make money from the internet: selling something or advertising something. And then my final close is this. Amazon. Nothing. So really go down deep into the rabbit hole in regards to what we do. And you can do that by hitting the link at the top of the page, and it takes you into Sam's 10K digital business card, another disruptor, as we also are a disruptor. Over to the left, you'll see join bam.eco today. You click that, and that will allow you to enroll for the one-time fee of $199. 50% off the top goes to Sam. I'm Brian Franklin, and I approve that message, and I'm done speaking.
I'll finish your saying, BAM!
Hey, let me say this quickly too, Sam. One of the things that's unique about our business is when you join BAM Gives, we give to the homeless population in a very large way. We give to the new contributor population that most people know of as the ex-offenders. We give to veterans. We give to people that are in need, most importantly, helping them be an entrepreneur collaboratively so that they can make passive income to allow them and their families to eat. Thank you so much, Sam. Bam!
Absolutely, Bam. Appreciate you. And LJ, I want to introduce you to Bam. He's amazing. I got connected with him through Clubhouse and also 10K. If you know Sean Ackerman, 10K cards, if you know him. He's unbelievable. If you don't know him, you got to know him. You do some awesome stuff on your digital card, but if you ever want to move it, kind of up a level, definitely gotta look at the digital business card because it's really cool. You can actually drop it if you go to a meeting with somebody. You turn on your phone. If you have an Apple phone, you turn on your AirDrop. You could drop it to people in that room without touching them. No business cards, no nothing. And then if they have Android, you just have them scan your QR code, and then you're on their phone. So that's one of the things. I've been in this Clubhouse streets for a year, man. It's really, really hard to believe it's been a year since through this crazy COVID thing, we actually had lives and we actually stayed connected to people, which was one of the worst things in this COVID thing was loss of connection to people. And I've made some really, really good friendships that, if I met them in the street, I would consider my friend. Just like you, LJ. If I met you in the street, I consider you my friend. And you could tell a lot about a person through their voice and what they do and that they add value, pour value out to people every day. And that's why I love these rooms, and that's why I love doing my newly licensed. And yes, I'm going to go back to my Tuesday, 12 o'clock. And LJ, yeah, we're going to do our podcast this year. We're going to get that done. So I originally
I'll send you the booking link. I do it on Saturdays. So.
Awesome. So what I did was I originally started this room, newly licensed now what, and it's to help agents, not be the 87% or 95% of the fallout. And I have a Mentor Monday or Mindset Monday, which is awesome because we could start the week with figuring out where the mindset is and how do we get that mindset better. And then each day I do a theme. This week I've been out of sorts because I didn't know if I had COVID from a client of mine. And I'm okay. I got tested and I'm okay. So, thank God for that. And so I'm going to get back on the horse next week and get to my daily show because I really enjoy it. I really enjoy seeing new agents come in the room or people that are just confused or lost or just don't know what to do. And I got experience from about 2004, and I've learned a lot in this business. I've learned a lot about giving back. And I'm actually going to get certified for it's called Real Estate Agents of Change. And it's a nonprofit thing where you can actually donate a house to a nonprofit organization. So I'm excited to learn more about that next week. And I'm always looking out there to think outside the box and think how I could be better in my community and better in my society, and how to show my daughters as an example, not do what I say, do what I do, and give back to the community every day. And today is Red Day, and it's perfect. Bam, you're wearing your red. It's Remember Everyone Deployed Day. Friday is Remember Everyone Deployed Day. I don't know if you knew that, Bam.
New data. Thank you for sharing. Bam. And I'm actually wearing a red striped T-shirt too, so that's perfect.
So we just appreciate the soldiers that are over there. LJ is also is military. He's active duty, and he has a podcast, and he's very knowledgeable about the financial industry. And I just love the people I get in this room, and there's no way I could have connected with all these people unless Clubhouse was around. I'd have to go a long way to find these people, and it's very serendipitous how we all meet. So I'll land my plane, sam661.com, and I approve this message, Mr. Bam.
So, Sam, for a new agent, your title says newly licensed, now what? Fantastic Friday. What do you recommend new agents do when they become an agent so that they can get past that first year? I'm done speaking. Bam.
My recommendation is the first thing is look on your phone. People will do business with you because they know, like, and trust you. And if you look at your cell phone, there's a reason you put those people in your phone. There's a reason that they're there. Go through that phone. Start calling people. Start saying, hey, if you haven't talked to people, most of us haven't talked to all the people on our phone. Talk to them, see how they're doing. Don't make it business related. Just call people and say, hey, this is a crazy time, COVID. I'm just calling to check to see how you and your family are doing. And that's it. And people will speak about themselves. People love to speak about themselves. And then after you're done speaking, do a handwritten card and send them a thank you for taking your time, and maybe put down at the bottom your real estate stuff if you're comfortable with that. If not, wait till the next time you talk, or send out when you first start a real estate business, because this is a business, you're going to send out letters to your friends, family, and neighbors telling them that you're in the real estate business and to call you if they have any real estate questions. So the first thing I would do is start with, it's called your sphere of influence, and we all have that. And then circle outward from that into the community. Meet people in your community. Go to networking events. Come on Clubhouse. Create a room. You never know who you're going to connect with. Don't be secret agent, because there's a lot of us agents out there, and you need to separate yourself. Find a niche. Find something you're passionate about. Focus on that. And be whoever you are, because if you're not being authentic, people can smell that from a mile away. If you're passionate about what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. So that's, without going deeper into the rabbit hole, that's what I would do. I'd say people look at your phones and start there, because there's a lot of people in there that I'm sure you haven't connected with in a long time.
I kind of want to. Can you guys hear me? One second.
You're a little bit soft.
Is that better?
Yes, sir. Lot better, brother.
Oh, geez. All right, so I want to answer this question because there's a lot in there. Look, if I was, it doesn't matter what your license is in. I mean, if you're a newly appointed sales rep for your own business because you're a solopreneur at that point, you haven't developed a team yet, this is what I would do. And this is what I tell anybody. I say, listen, number one, just like Sam said, you already have a network of people in your phone. What I wouldn't do, I don't want to disregard what Sam said because a lot of it is true, but a lot of that stuff is kind of old hat. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest. So I would start putting out content, value adding content that has nothing to do with the houses specifically. So you see a lot of people on that get into real estate and they're like, hey, I'm with Remax. And then, they just like, I just started and they put out this post and that's it. All their friends love it. And then that's it. If your friends and family are on your phone, first of all, I could guarantee you that if you called all 100 of those people, they would probably not show up to an appointment because you don't know how to promote the business yet. So they're gonna be curious, you're gonna be excited, but you're gonna say all the wrong things, and then they're kind of, a lot of people typically when they first, like Bam just said, they get out of business in that first. Why do they get? He said, okay, people get out of business the first year. Why? Because they go out and they promote to their friends and family the wrong way. They get alienated, and then they become that salesperson nobody wants to talk to. So the way you get around that is you don't talk about houses. You go live and you say, hey, listen, guys, in this video, I'm going to teach. I want to teach you share with you. I was just looking over some of the best school districts in the area, and I want to share with you some of the, stuff that parents would like to know about, some of the safest locations in the area, just adding value. And at the end of that video, you talk about, oh, by the way, if you got guys this video and you're looking for a home in the Virginia Beach area, for example, right? Me and my fiance, we love to go hiking here in Virginia Beach. A lot of people don't realize, even though it's a beach, they don't know, like, there's a lot of places you can go hiking, right? Great family places. There's a place here called First Landing Park. We go there every Sunday, right? I spend a lot of time with her there all day. It's probably where I'm going to propose. You know what I'm saying? And I got the ring just last couple weeks ago. So
Congratulations! Woo!
Right? And so that's a place where you can take your kids, right? Safe. It's outdoors. It's, especially with COVID. They've got cabins there. They've got about 20 cabins you can rent out. That location, and all the cabins are spread out, and you can walk to the beach from the state park. So you could pretty much be in a state park, and then within a 10-minute walk, you're at the beach. Oh, and by the way, I sell houses. You see the difference there? So I just told you this great story about me, my girl, and the state park, and blah, 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 blah. And by the way, if you guys are in the area and you're looking for homes in this area, I can point out some really good places, but you want to check that state park out. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of it is just putting out content you got to become a better storyteller, has to be engaging, has to be relevant to your audience. And then after they get that, so like I said, these are things that people don't want to do. That's why they quit in the first year. Because you tell them, hey, look, this is what you got to do. You got to go live and then all that go live challenge, 30 days in a row. You're training your audience to ignore you. I don't go live every day. When I do, I'm interviewing someone on my podcast, and we're talking about some serious business stuff. And so people are getting value out of it. Most part, like I have a show this weekend, and I've got over 100 people subscribed to actually tune in live during the podcast because I'm learning how to position it better. And I talk about what you're going to get. Like, for example, let me read this to you guys real quick. And I hope you don't mind this, Sam, but I'm just kind of like riffing on this.
No. It's cool. This is what this room's all about. It's value to people that come in this room, and also on the streaming channels because other people are listening too.
Okay, so yeah, for example, right, so I sell life insurance, right? I hardly ever talk about it because during my podcast, I just mentioned, hey, listen, if you're looking to do a financial review, here's my email. And my email is posted on the live show the whole time. I don't have to talk about it. People are emailing me on the back, and I just send that to one of my business partners. I don't really write the business anymore. I have other people writing the business. But anyhow, listen to this. None of this has anything to do with life insurance, right? And again, if I was selling houses, it'd be the same thing. So during this episode of the podcast, you'll learn the process that Tom and his team over at Telex Media developed to help you build meaningful relationships with your community that you serve. We're going to focus this discussion around harnessing your power of storytelling to create deliberately designed and beautifully executed content tailor-made to accelerate the growth of your business, brand, and to exceed your goals. Tom is the founder of this. Sorry, can you tell I'm reading this? Tom is the founder of Telex Media. He's also a 2-time Emmy Award nominee, and he helps businesses like yours become brands that matter through his unique approach called legendeering. So I can do a live video right now, pretty much rereading what I just read to you guys, and then that is, you notice, I'm not talking about his, it wasn't a lot about he's this great this, he's a that, he's a blah, 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 blah. It's not, it's like, what are you, the audience, going to get out of this, out of listening to this? That's how you get people to subscribe to the content. And then, oh, by the way, in the middle, maybe towards the end, I'll mention, hey, by the way, if you got value out of this podcast, definitely connect with Tom. If you're interested in making additional income online, we're talking about, passive income, 3 to 5K a month, right? Because again, I'm an insurance agent, right? A broker, and I can train people. So I just mentioned that. I don't mention all that. I just say, hey, if you're looking to make additional income, you can email me info@ljhaywood.com. Now, this isn't a pitch for that. I'm just explaining that you have to craft episodic content, interesting things, and then, oh, by the way, create curiosity. Hey, by the way, if you got value out of this and you want to learn how to work with my team, I'm expanding online, and I'm looking for some key leadership, you can email me. Oh, hey, and then I go right back into the podcast. Boom. And so those are the ways that I would recommend somebody that's brand new. Again, this is a lot of work, but it's not, because it's like, all right, here's the deal. You're a new agent. You just started with the team. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a podcast about your story, about where you grew up, your family, your upbringing, and then, oh, by the way, you just started your own business. And if any of your friends and family want to learn more, have them, here's your business email, have them email you after the show, and then share the hell out of that podcast. If anybody asks you what you do, you say, hey, I work in the financial industry, and I recently did a podcast with my business partner, LJ. You can check it out. And then leverage that conversation to build the relationship. So then by the time they're on the phone with you, you're not having to overcome a bunch of objections, because they've connected with you as a person, because we focus the conversation around who you are as an individual versus, buy my shit. That's what you're seeing. You'll see a lot of this stuff. And what's irritating too to see is if you look at those Facebook groups or your friends that get into business, you notice that Facebook actually reads that stuff because it's not interesting. If you post that that you're doing some sort of business related stuff to your friends and family, they're not gonna like it. But if you post a picture with you and your significant other, Christmas time underneath a tree, you're gonna get tons of likes, because Facebook knows you're trying to sell your friends or family on your business versus entertaining, engaging content. So to get away from that, create content that's entertaining. And oh, by the way, that's my first time. I don't know why I keep saying that, but you get my point. Done speaking.
Absolutely, LJ. Yeah, you. I hope everyone in the audience and out there is writing these notes down, because these are so valuable in a business. And there are several ways to train, and there's several ways to approach things. I was just bringing something that's just a basic approach, and yeah, it's a little antiquated, but I mean, it still does work. You start there, and you can expand into what LJ was talking about, or you could do it at the same time.
It's kind of breaking rapport, I know it's not, I hesitate to tell people to start calling people on their phone, because they're going to burn through their market so quickly without knowing what they're doing. You know,
Well, yeah,
I'm always worried about that.
of course, you need training with how to approach people on the phone as well. So that's you don't want to just call people and just be, people can smell desperation. You don't want that. You don't want that. You have to be trained properly how to handle the phone and what to say and what not to say and how to approach people and what days. I mean, there's a whole science about that. So, LJ brought up a point where you could use social media because everyone's on social media and not talk about your business. Just talk about being personal because I think they said for every business post, you're supposed to do 3 or 4 personal posts. I believe that's what I heard some of the comments in some of the classes I've been in. Because if you just vomit your business, no one's gonna want to watch it, and no one's gonna like it, and no one's gonna follow you. So people are interested in you.
Right? You're talking about real estate, and I mean, we all know that real estate is all about location.
So absolutely.
If you like certain certain places in your, I don't know where people say, like I live in Virginia Beach, so if I was a real estate agent, I'd be going live all the time, just talking about local bars, local hot spots in the city. I don't sell houses yet. That's why I'm the only reason why this is relevant to me is because I'm going to be getting my real estate license next. After I focus, I got to focus on one thing at a time. I'm kind of ADD, but once I do that, you'll see, because like the podcast, it doesn't really matter what I sell, right?
Absolutely.
If the information is relevant and the guests are entertaining, then I could pivot. Hey, look, this podcast is brought to you by, Sam 661, right? For example. Yep. And whenever I talk about podcasting, people seem to think that their podcast has to be about houses. It doesn't. To be honest, it's funny. Like if you're watching TV and you're watching Seinfeld, which is a show about nothing, do you get upset? Do you get upset when the commercials come on and you're watching an ad for Target? So I'm like, look, if you sell houses, is that all you do every day? Is just sell houses?
Nope.
You might be a musician. You might be into other things that's adjacent. So a lot of people, their podcasts, their engagement is low because their content is shit that they're not even excited about.
You're right.
Like you're not excited about it. So your audience isn't going to be excited about it. But if you did a podcast where you're just talking about your favorite albums, right?
Yep.
And then you mention that you sell houses in a certain area, you can still do that.
Absolutely. Like since we got this puppy, I'm actually going to create this puppy Instagram page. I thought it was a great idea.
Dope. That's a great idea. By the way, if you do have pets, then that's another thing you could talk about, local dog parks, and you can rate the dog parks in your area, give your opinions about them. And by the way, I sell houses.
It looks like Tony's got a dog in his picture. Tony, come up and say hi.
Yeah, speaking of dogs, my best friend has a couple pups, and her pet, she's a bulldog, is getting old, and so we were like, it's getting to that point where you're like,
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, Tony?
Hey, what's going on, Tony? I love the dog.
That's actually Tony's picture. No, that's Tony.
No, that was useless today.
Tony, I want to give you a quick introduction because from what I remember, you're in California, correct?
Yep.
Your wife is working with Steve. I know she podcasts, correct?
Yeah, she's Julie Champagne of the Ginger Shade Show.
Yeah, and you do almonds, right? Like you have an almond farm.
I farm almonds, and now I'm getting into the hay deal, and we got cattle, and we got pigs. We got all kinds. We got as my wife calls it, the funny farm.
Is this app glitching on me? Because I see Bam's deal on here twice. Is that just me?
I don't see him twice. I see him once.
Yeah. All right, let me log in and log back out.
2 is better than 1, so keep going, man.
What?
Hey, Tony. I saw Undercover Billionaire the other day, and one of the guests went to work at an almond farm, and I never knew that almond farms, you shook the trees. I was like, wow, except for like the commercial that they show in like Silk or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But I was amazed to see that they have a vehicle, and you can really hurt those almond trees if you don't do it properly.
Correct. Like right now, we're doing what's called shaking and cleaning them from last year's crop. You want to get all last year's crop off, but to get rid of the pests that are in the eggs and stuff and the bugs that give you problems. And you have to be real gentle. Like I had one last night because I do it at night. So I had one fall on top of the shaker. The tree actually broke the roots off.
You were talking. You were also talking about you have like a water supply system that helps the whole town or something. Is that?
Well, it helps the water. We're at one of my orchards, when I fire up the well, it's pressurized by some deal that I still don't. I need to look more into it, but it pressurizes and pushes water up the pipe instead of through the bowls, what they call, and pushed up through the pipe into the deal. It actually goes through the housing of the well up to the upper aquifers and replenishes the area.
The reason why I brought that up is because again, I'm just being kind of like facetious, right? If you had a podcast, right, and you were a real estate agent, and you were interviewing Tony about how he has this system that's benefiting the whole town, that was the kind of content that you would want to have on your show. For example, right, I see somebody in here is from Long Beach, which is where I actually spent a lot of time there. I was born in Van Nuys, but my family's from Long Beach. I know about the Metro links and the different systems and all that kind of stuff, the blue line out there. You could interview like the local sheriff deputies and stuff like that. Like that's the kind of content you would want to start putting out. But anyhow, go back. Sorry, Sam. This is just the way my brain thinks.
Hey.
Yeah, I grew up in Cyprus.
Oh, nice. No, I was just saying.
I'm ADD too, brother.
Stephanie's down there. Yeah, she's from Long Beach.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a big thing in California right now is the water. And
huge.
We have to.
Yeah, huge. One of the reasons why I left was because I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, and I'm like, how did they? There's really, I didn't really see an industry outside of all my friends were working at Hollister. I'm like, I can't work at the mall. This is whack.
Well, that's the reason why I keep this thing going. I mean, it's small compared. I'm surrounded by corporate farms, and they don't care. But when you got 2 kids, you got to look at their future.
Absolutely.
And granted, the daughter doesn't know what she wants to do yet. She's, the 24-year-old, 23, that's still thinking about the 12-year-old. He's here about every day working.
We should do you and I should do a podcast episode because we could talk about the value of, I guess instilling that work ethics, that entrepreneurial work ethics into your kids or whatever you want to talk about. Well, if you're interested.
He's learning how to weld. He's 12 years old, and we're teaching him how to weld. I'm the only one here that works during the whole thing, and he comes in and helps. And it was funny when we first went into quarantine a couple of years, 2 years, whatever it was. His teacher sent home a thing saying, "Okay, let's try to get the kids to learn something new." And she had a list of like checking oil in the car. This and that. Well, he was like 10 years old, and he was checking oil on all the big tractors. And there's actually videos around of him doing all this.
That's awesome. Yeah, I always talk to my kids about, work ethic. And my daughter had a job at In-N-Out Burger. I'm not sure how long she had it, but she was really good. They loved her there. And then she decided she was going to not do it anymore because she wanted to focus on her schoolwork, and that was fine. However, she did learn a lot about work and responsibility and all those things that teenagers need to learn that a lot of teenagers have no idea about. So, Tony, you're doing an awesome job. I think that's so cool. I'd love to have you on a podcast, too. That'd be a fascinating learning, how you got to that and what brought you there. Just like LJ talks about the story behind, what would get you into family farming. I got a whole bunch of thought pattern on corporate farming, and it drives me up the wall. Drives my kids up the wall too. So it's like, I I think we're doing a lot of damage to our communities right now through.
Yeah, don't get me started on that right now. I
Feel the same way. Got it.
Yeah, because the corporate farms, there's a lot of things going on now with Southern California. People, actually, groups are coming up and buying up ground so they can have the water supply. Well, I don't know about you, but sure, fine and hand and dandy. But the thing is, you rob the water supply from the area, it won't survive.
Yeah, you absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, in Santa Clarita, we have a lot of people. We have about 250,000 people population right now. And it's just getting busier. And LJ, you said you were in the valley, so you know what it's like up here, and it's getting more compact. People are being more on top of each other. So,
like Monica says, Monica's in Steve Monica's show, I'm in a one Taco Bell town, and that is true.
that's so interesting. So before you got into the farming, what did you do, Tony?
Okay, don't laugh at me now.
I won't.
So, my dad, I grew up in Orange County, Southern California. My dad was an electrical contractor. I was working for him from the age of 12 on, learned how to do electrical work. And then we also had a leaf spring shop down there in Orange County where my family built leaf springs too. My dad kind of ventured out, but we had a leaf spring shop. So I learned how to do all that. I learned how to fabricate. And then I was always in the cars. And then we were drag racers too. We had a fuel dragster at one time. So, I mean, I did a lot of things over my life. Like my wife says, I had a cool life before I married her. She always pissed me about that. But then we moved up here because, I mean, we got offered a ton of money for everything down there. So we sold out and moved up here. And then we were looking for a hobby, something fun to do. So we built this farm. Me and my dad, who's still alive, he's 75. He just can't do very much. And I mean, the original ranch is 150. And then we've got another, 75 acres at a separate place that is a whole different ballgame there. But yeah, I mean, that's how we got into it. And it's a lot of trial and error. Trust me on that one.
Yep. Anything is trial and error. You know, you got to fail forward. That's the important thing about in any business. Don't be afraid to fail fast and fail forward, and you'll learn your lessons, and you won't do the things that you weren't supposed to do again. And if you do, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Try something different. So where is your farm?
Are you familiar?
Oh, hold on. Bad connection. Familiar with what?
Northern California?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm 80 miles north of Sacramento, 20 miles west of Chico, in the little town of Orland.
So you're like Tulare or
No,
up?
no. We're way up there.
Way over.
If you go to Sacramento, you fly into Sacramento Airport.
Yeah, I've been there.
North an hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in 2 hours I can be in Oregon.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's like right now we got wind. That's what you're probably hearing, the rattling in the buildings. But yeah, it's usually pretty nice. I mean, it's right now is the cold time of the year. But I mean, for the most part, I like this.
He's got an almond farm.
I grew up in the big city down there, and I was like, no, I want out of here. Everybody thought I was nuts. Now it's like, okay.
Yeah, we probably went through your farm area on the way to Berkeley, or.
Nope, it's higher up.
Oh, my wife's telling me it's higher up.
Oh yeah, I'm way up there.
So you're right by the Oregon border.
Yeah, I think what were they saying? There's like 70 or 80 miles of me north that's still the valley area, and then after that you're in the hills and you hit snow and you hit all the fun stuff. That's another thing is
She's right
in
there.
an hour I can be up in snow. My
She's
kid
right
likes snow. The wife don't like it too much, but she goes because of him. And we can go to the snow, or we can go. I mean, I'm not even that, 5 miles from the Sacramento River. I mean, there's lakes everywhere. It's great up there, and there's hunting. We do a little bit of that. But, I mean, we raise cows and horses and pigs and chickens. And, yeah, it was something different.
That's pretty cool. That's a way different from the Orange County area. Orange County is so busy. I'm glad I don't live in Orange County. I mean, Santa Clarita is just a suburb of LA, just north of, when the North Ridge earthquake happened, right?
Yep, I know exactly. I used to go to Palmdale and Bakersfield all the time.
Yep, we're right before you head to Palmdale.
I used to go to the Palmdale racetrack when I was 16, 17.
Very cool, very cool. Hey, Tony, this is originally created, newly licensed. Now, what attracted you to this room, or were you following LJ?
LJ follows me, and I follow him, and I saw him on here, and I was sitting here trying to figure out what I'm going to do because I spent the morning cutting up trees. We had some trees down. I couldn't get in there, and I was like, I'm going to sit here and relax.
They're cleaning up trees.
He hit me up, and I was like,
They have to get the old stuff off. So is this the season that you're supposed to shake the trees and to get the old stuff off and the insects?
Yeah, usually I do it I start usually 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and go till about 9 or 10 in the morning. When the moisture goes away, you stop. Otherwise, you hurt next year's crop, which is the little buds. But yeah,
I told him to watch the Undercover
usually,
Billionaire and saw the lady that was shaking the
wind.
trees. Sounds like a fascinating life to be growing almonds. And do you sell? What do you do with the almonds when you grow them and you shake them?
So they go. I do the shaking and the sweeping, which is put them in the middle, and then they have a machine come through and pick them up and truck them off. Because I don't want to. That's a lot of equipment to take care of, and you need more people. So I have a friend of mine who has 7,000 acre ranches total, and he'll come in with his equipment, pick it up, haul it off with his trucks over to his brother's hauler, and then they process them. And then from there, they either go domestically or they go foreign.
Very cool. Very cool. So your job is to make sure you grow the tree, shake them, make sure the bugs aren't there anymore, and then when does the next harvest start to grow?
When the bloom comes in, which the bees are, I guess my dad called me and told me that the bee guy's going to start dropping off bees, so that's going to be the fun part of the year because my kid usually ends up in a bee box somehow or another and get stung. But yeah, the bees come in, and then when the trees bloom, they go through pollinize the trees, and then usually I start harvest this year was early. I mean, really early, and I came back from 4th of July because I usually take the weekend off 4th of July or the week off or whatever. And then I came back and I spray the trees for the bloom spray, or not the bloom spray, but the harvest spray. And then I started harvest actually mid-July, and it's usually in August.
So you have to have everything ready at least a year ahead of time, correct?
Yeah, the shaker, shakers, the machine that shakes them, they're a very violent machine, and they're very, very, they usually only last not the hours on them. They break themselves apart. And my machine's an older machine, but it had no hours on it when I bought it. It's used, it's 12 years old now, but I still can get another 2,000-3,000 hours out of it. And I have to go through that whole thing every year and replace parts, take it off and weld it up. But that there takes up probably a month alone.
Wow, it sounds a lot of labor, a lot of love for what you do. I did today's Fantastic Friday and successes and what we've had for successes this week. So, Tony, what have you had for successes this week, and how are you going to reward yourself? I love asking these questions because it's kind of interesting.
Well, let's see here. it was my wife's birthday this week, so I did that, and then she started her new job. She's buying an existing business, so that kind of
Hey!
was
Hey!
his adventure. And then
And the
Oh,
door's
just-
open.
Come on.
getting a lot of things done. I mean, I'm ahead of schedule
This
for
is
the
where you
shaking
go.
this year.
Ouch.
What they call the last year's crop, which they call mummies.
That's where you go
So
potty.
hopefully by the beginning of next week, I'll be done with that completely for the year. And then just enjoying life. I mean, my success, honestly, is everybody healthy.
Especially right now, it's crazy. It's like everyone either knows somebody has COVID or is connected to somebody have COVID or has COVID. It's just it's insane. So be blessed to have healthy family is definitely something to be thankful for. So
Yeah, that's the way I feel about it, honestly. And I mean, my kid, today was his first day. So the joke around our household is my son's had a month Christmas vacation.
do we need to
He
spray
went
it now?
back to school after the first, and on Monday, on Tuesday, we were notified that we have to pick him up at 11 o'clock in the morning because he was exposed on Monday. A kid went home and tested positive, so then he was off till today is actually his first day back to school again. So he had a month off almost
Wow.
to just, and I never thought I'd hear him say today or yesterday, "Oh, good, I get to go back to school tomorrow."
Yeah, you never expect your kids to say that. Except I have one daughter. She has autism, and it's hard during the holidays, and it's hard during the summer because she is so into being in school and having a schedule every day. She wants to make sure she has her schedule out, so she knows what her schedule is. But she knows what her schedule is. She has great memory. So it's a challenge when it comes to, when we were all locked in a house, it was tough. Anybody that has children with special needs understands scheduling is so important for special needs community.
Well, and that's another thing is during the start of pandemic, my wife was at her job and I was considered essential workers. So it was kind of eerie because I would leave my house in town and come out to one of the ranches, and I water at night, and I used to see people out there that I knew and stuff like that, but nobody was working per se, and you would come out, the valley would be black. And so my son, the year off, or whatever it was, he would come with me and, "Dad, I want to go with you." And he even said it, "Yeah, this is spooky."
Yeah, it was weird when everything pandemic started and you go in these areas and it's like, yeah, ghost town, because nobody knew what to expect. We have. Oh, sorry, my wife's talking to the dog in the background.
Don't worry about it. Trust me, I've got my dog running around here, and I think he's got one of my gloves.
What kind of dog do you have, Tony?
We have Weimaraners. This is the pup that I bring with me, and then we have two older ones at home. And then my dad actually has two here, but apparently they went to town and locked him up for the day, and he's causing trouble over here.
They are smart dogs, Weimaraners. I had one a long time ago. They are really smart dogs, sometimes too smart. They're escape artists.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot from you, Tony. I appreciate you sharing. That's so cool. I hope LJ does a podcast with you. I'd love to do a podcast with you too. It'd just be fascinating.
Yeah. You ever listen to Monica and Steve show?
I haven't, but I will.
Yeah, she's been trying to get me to do a podcast for quite a while, and I'm like, She wanted to do one on, because I drag race from the age of 16 up to, what was I, 30, almost 20 years worth. And I started when I was really young. I mean, it was back then. I mean, nowadays you can go buy everything. Back then we had to build everything.
Yeah, it's yeah, you have to build everything now. Well, everything's electronic now, so I'm sure it's got a you kind of have to have electrical degree to do it now.
Yeah, I've got a sweeper here. It's got to go to John Deere because they got to plug it in and reprogram it, and I'm just dreading it because it's like $200 an hour.
Yeah, that's and it's like, okay, well, you have to make up what's the return on investment on that, and are you going to make it up in your business?
Oh, this machine. Anything dealing with equipment, like a shaker right now, this one I didn't pay this much, but a shaker right now, a new one, is $170,000.
Wow, had no idea that equipment was that pricey.
Oh yeah, and like my sweeper, I bought this one. This one I stumbled upon, but I had another new one before this one, and it was $95,000. I mean, people don't realize how much things cost to run this.
Yeah, I had no idea, and it explains why when you go to buy almonds, they're not cheap. Almonds are not cheap when it comes to purchasing them.
We like right now. I think what are they in the store? I forget how much a pound. But like last year, we sold ours for $250 a pound. And when you got almost, what was it, last year was 180,000 pounds, which was
I think we lost you, Tony.
yeah. I mean, it's the prices to the farmers isn't, how do I put this, be politically correct? There's so many hands those crops touch before they go to the store that drives the prices up.
I'm sure, especially right now with the fuel, that fuel is so expensive. And then taxes, of course, California taxes, we love those.
Yeah, we get taxed on everything but the trees themselves.
Do you get any type of subsidies from the government?
Yeah, every year there's some kind of program that comes out. They'll say, hey, you qualify for this or you qualify for that. And you put in for it, and if you get it, you get it. I mean, honestly, here, my dad's place, they paid for 3/4 of the ranch to have all the irrigation put in to micros conserve water, which was like $100,000 that we didn't have to pay.
So it's a blessing when you get something like that.
Yeah, all this stuff. I mean, there's a lot to this. People don't realize, okay, say for instance, prime example, we had a car going to one of my orchards, took out a tree. Insurance, I was like, well, baby tree's $12, $12.95. I'll just call and order, I'll put it on my list. I got to do 100 replants, which are new trees this year. And I was like, oh, no big deal. Well, my insurance calls me up because he got a police report. It says, we owe you $6,000. I go, what the hell you owe me $6,000 for? He goes, that's what that's replacing your tree is worth, $6,000 to you.
What? Well, there's a little insurance adjustment.
Yeah, and stuff like that. You don't. I've never had to deal with it before, and when something like that happened, I was like, really? Are you sure? That I feel like I'm kind of taking advantage of you. They go, no, that's what the industry has come up with. If your tree gets knocked out by some kind of thing, their insurance, my insurance takes care of it and goes after their insurance money.
And that's why we wind up spending so much for insurance, because somebody's got to pay. It's going to come down on somebody.
Well, yeah, and like I can't even. It's sad to say this, but like if somebody wanted to come in and say, "Hey, I need some firewood. Can I cut down those trees that are down?" I can't have them in there because the liability insurance now, if they get hurt or tripped or it's something stupid in my orchard, I'm responsible for them.
Yeah, workers' comp. That's that's expensive.
Yeah. So, well, guys, I got to go back to work.
Me too. I gotta go pick up my daughter and have a driving lesson. Hopefully today's driving lesson's better than yesterday.
12-year-old drives all over the place here. He's like, "Hey," I'm going.
Maybe you could teach my my 17-year-old.
Yeah, Aiden's like, I'll just drive. He takes my. I pull up after being a tractor, and my truck's gone. I'm like, "Where'd you go?" And it's up at Grandma and Grandpa's house. I'm like, "What are you doing?" You got a quad in this? He goes, "You ran out of gas." I didn't want to put gas in it.
So, thank you so much, everyone in this room. This was definitely a learning lesson. Bam, LJ, we're gonna connect. Richard, did you want to say something before we close down the room? Introduce yourself. I guess not. I guess he's being quiet today, or he can't talk. But
Okay, I'll talk to you guys later.
thank you, Tony. I appreciate you coming in here. I learned a lot. I'm just fascinated now. LJ, I'm going to connect with you in the back channel, and let's do that podcast. Bam, always a pleasure to see you in here. God bless. Have a great weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday, my friend.
Brother.
Take care of all those Bryans. All right. Instagram, we're done. Welcome back to Newly Licensed. Now what? And it was interesting. Fantastic Friday. What everyone was thankful or was accomplished this week, and how they're going to celebrate their successes. And then we learned about almond trees, which was really fascinating. I hope you guys got something out of that. That was really cool. I've never heard all that information about almond trees. It was really cool. Always interesting to learn something new. But we will see you next week. Come back to LinkedIn. Please make sure that you follow Newly Licensed Now What. You never know who you're going to have in these rooms. And I learned a lot about almonds. Bam! I felt like I was learning. I used to watch Huell Hauser all the time, and he would go do travel to the different places, and I felt like it was like Huell Hauser asking those questions.
All right, brother. Until next time, man. I'll see you Tuesday, if not before.
All right, Bam. Take it easy. Have a great weekend.
Have a fantastic Friday, man. Peace.
Absolutely, my friend. Peace. All right. You know how to get me. You know how to find me. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, 12 o'clock. And here's my little mascot. She's getting in trouble today. Hold on, let me get her. Okay. Okay, Star. Say goodbye.
She's done.
Say goodbye. She says goodbye too. Take care. Mm-mm.
Her new bone?
She didn't.
I don't think she knows what to do with it yet.
All right. One more time. Shutting down. Sam Silver, eXp Realty. 661-621-5340. Thank you for watching this stream. And we will talk to you next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.